can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fuck it.
Thank you, Bill. We welcome you in. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It's Thursday, September 19th. How is everybody doing out there on this wonderful, beautiful fall, crisp day here on a Thursday? We get you set here for 90 minutes of just exhilarating sports talk here on the Daily Puck Drop. We do it every single day live. Of course, we are in the PuckSports studios. It's built by Limbach Lumber. They're going to take care of you, whether you're a DIY, whether you're a do-it-yourselfer. I tried to get that DIYer in there real quick, and I knew immediately when it was coming out, you need to just say someone that just does it themselves. Also, small contractors, they're going to offer free deliveries from everything from whole house packages to those homeowner do-it-yourself projects. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call. Limbach Lumber, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbachlumber.com. All right, what do we got on the show for you today? Well, Mike Garafolo is going to stop by in about 20 minutes. We'll get the latest news and notes from the National Football League with Garafolo. We'll talk a little baseball at some point. We'll do it here soon, but Brad Adam we'll stop on by, and of course, we'll talk to Brad just about another craptastic Mariners game last night. They just find new ways to lose, don't they? They are unbelievable. They really are unbelievable, just in terms of just how bad they can be. Man, it's frustrating to watch them play. It just really, really is. It's almost, like last night, it just was laughable because it's two nights in a row. 2 nights in a row when you have a play at third base that, the previous night doesn't cost you the game, but it's just terrible in just terms of how it took place. And 2 nights ago, Robles. Last night, it's Julio Rodriguez, who fell asleep.
Runners lead, 2-2.
Unbelievable.
Swing and a miss. And the ball is thrown to third, and they get J-Rod. Oh, what a happenstance. Rosarena strikes out, lets go of the bat. Rodriguez trying to get out of the way, strayed too far off of third, and then the quick throw to Chisholm for the double play.
Wow, this is amazing right here. You watch this great pitch, and there goes the bat, and Rodriguez gets out of the way. But the only problem is the ball's still live. He got caught sleeping. Great job by the Yankees. There you see the bat. He had to get out of the way. And he forgot that he had to get back to the bag. Nice job by Wells. Nice job by Jazz.
Wow, you can't make that up. Goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's inexcusable. Now it's similar to, Robles the other day. I think it's different. To me, that was a selfish move by Robles. It was just idiotic and stupid. And there's going to be others going to disagree and say, well, you're not going to come down on Julio. Listen, Julio should be. I mean, he shouldn't be. Listen, I think Manny Atka's got some issues here as well. People are going to argue with me and say, no, he knew right away. I don't think he knew right away. I think he was asleep at the wheel there as well. I think it's something that no one has ever seen before, right? You get the whole Tim Kirchin will tell you this stuff. Oh, yeah, go to the ballpark. You never know what you're going to see. I've never seen that play. And I would ask this, I want to just feel for Julio just for a quick second. Just for a quick second. Kill me if you'd like. He's got a flying bat coming at him. He's got to clearly get out of the way. Now, should he clearly erred and needs to be smarter than it and understand that it's not a dead ball? Okay, it wasn't the ball flying at him. I don't know if he thought that the ball was also foul or Rosarena had made contact. I don't know. But he clearly strays too far off and gets thrown out. But I would like to know like a baseball rule here. And I reached out a couple umpires that I know who have umpired Major League Baseball and then college baseball. And just said, I mean, clearly, is there anything in the rule book, anything for flying bat that would cause it to be a dead ball. And they're like, no, I mean, there's nothing in it. If there was something in it, then it would have been called a dead ball. But, he's got to get out of the way. So he's in order that he's not hit. My question, to those guys, and also to, I reached out to Jeff Nelson. Jeff Nelson and I were talking about it. Former, of course, Mariner, Yankee, and then does some broadcasting for the Yankees is, let's say he doesn't go off that far, right? He takes a couple of steps and Wells realizes right away and throws him out. I mean, there does seem, again, understanding the rule, there does seem to be a little bit unfair there. If a guy's got to avoid a bat coming his way, he's off the base, and then let's say the catcher or whoever realizes right away and throws him out. Now you just chalk it up to that's just the sport. Sports sometimes is unfair. All right, I can live with that. But I get him. We all understand him jumping out of the way, but it's there's one thing to jump out of the way, but then there's another thing to sit there and jog around like he did. And it's just another example for these guys. And it's been the case all year long. So it's not like Dan Wilson's going to fix this in the time that he's been at the job. They're just unprepared. They felt like they've been unprepared for a long time. And that even goes back to last year, just like the little fundamentals of the game that they just don't grasp. It's the bunting. It's the running in certain situations. It's not playing situational baseball. It's not understanding where outs are. And Julio's guilty of that. I mean, and I love Julio. That's not a bash Julio. Everybody makes mistakes. Young players, old players, they all do. There's a play earlier this year where, he forgot, where the outs were in terms of cutoff. Where was he going to throw? It's like those little things that you can't make those mistakes when you are trying to get into the playoffs. And I think we all agree they're not going to get into the playoffs. I mean, these playoffs are over. Not happening. It's not going to happen at all. I mean, I think it's just a lack of focus, from this baseball team. It's continued to be like a lack of focus. I think that, that whole inning is summed up, right? It's summed up the entire season. They started second base. They get him over to third. Rosarina strikes out Julio and Turner. I mean, it's all of it. It's just mistakes after mistakes after mistakes with this baseball team. And it's just a concern. It's been a concern all season long for these guys. And I don't know how it gets any better. I really don't know. I mean, because you got 10 games left in the season. It's not going to get better. Maybe something in the off season. Hopefully that they improve on. I don't know, but it's just laughable. It's laughable how they lose routinely. It's laughable how they go out and play all the time. The playoffs, they're 5 games back of Houston. That's done, with 10 to play. 3 games back in the wild card. But as we've mentioned, many, many times before, it's really 4. I mean, they're 4 games back. So this likelihood or whatever you want to call it of them trying to get in the playoffs, I mean, that's over. It was probably, over a long time ago. And I think there's a lot of people out there that probably were still holding out hope that they had a chance to get in. But I mean, not with the way that they play. It's offensively, the issues. But again, just like, situational smart baseball. They're just not good at it. And they haven't been good at it for a long time. And it's just another example last night where they just waste an absolutely unbelievable pitching performance, from Bryce Miller. And I was thinking about it. It's a sad state of affairs too with Bryce Miller when he throws 106 pitches. Now, again, this is old man yelling at the clouds. I understand the game has changed. Okay. I get it. Totally understand. But he throws 106 pitches. That's the most the starting pitcher for the Mariners has thrown this year. I just, you have that arsenal. You have that arsenal of guys. You would just think that at some point you'd push these guys maybe just a little bit harder. And again, this isn't a bit more of a comment, I think, on the rest of baseball. than it is just on the Mariners. Can we just push guys a little bit more? I know Bill Krueger's at home and he's nodding and he agrees with me. You just push the guys a little bit more than 106 pitches. But Miller was great again. Another time he's thrown a quality start, 17th quality start for Miller. It's the 89th overall there for the Mariners, which is by far and away the largest lead or the most there in Major League Baseball. And somebody said this on Twitter, and I agree. It is the most disappointing season that I can remember as a Mariner fan. I thought last season was, and then this season topped it. This season topped it because of the lack of moves they made in the offseason. You know, the frustrating nature of not doing anything. And then they get into the season, and then they somehow, some way build this massive lead in the division. They had 10 games up in the division. Like, you all know that. And they just piss it away. But they don't piss it away like in this like slow burn grind. It is just like immediate. And they go from, I think, everyone thinking, God, if they could just add a little bit at the deadline, make a few moves, improve the offense, Julio gets going, the rest of the guys, the regulars start playing better. With this pitching staff, they can win the whole thing. That was true then. It's true now. They could have done it. But they just pissed it all away again. Another season in which they have one element of their team is good enough to win the whole thing, but the other isn't. And it's not just the offense. Again, it goes back to they are not a smart baseball team. They just aren't. And that starts from the top. It just does. How they're prepared, how they're coached. I mean, all these mistakes that they make all the time, base running mistakes, bunting mistakes, throwing mistakes, fielding mistakes, that is a product not just of the players. Players are ultimately the ones who are making the mistakes, so it is on them, but it's also a reflection in a large part to the coaching. It is, and it's just been an issue all season long. It's been an issue for the last couple of years. And so I do agree. I think it's the most disappointing season that I can remember as a Mariner fan. And they just, in a couple of years, just absolutely crapped all over the goodwill that they had built up. You know, we can go back. We did this exercise last year. We can do this exercise again now. I remember exactly where I was when they lost that game. Okay, watching that Vancouver, Washington, watching that game, 18, 19 innings, whatever it was. And they lose and go and thinking, all right, well, I'm disappointed, but man, the future's bright. Go out and make a couple of moves with this staff. They're going to win the division next season, and maybe they'll be a World Series contender. And that we talked about like the steps, and I'd always, kind of recall like the NBA, right, where the Pistons go through the Celtics and then the Bulls go through the Pistons and blah, 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 blah. And then they didn't do any of that. I mean, if you go back and if we could go back and listen to what we all said after 2022 about how excited the future was for this team, and to think less than 2 years later, all of that is over. All of it. I mean, that little window that they thought that they had a championship team, where is that window? It doesn't exist. That's why he hoodwinked you. All of you and Jerry Dipoto. He hoodwinked all of you. But you bought into it. So you shouldn't be mad. Those who have supported him for as long as they have, you don't get the right to be upset today. Because a lot of us tried to tell you that it was not going to work. That there was a massive amount of issues with this baseball team. But you didn't want it. You didn't want to believe it. Because you wanted to believe Jerry Dipoto so much. And once again, they have an amazing ability every year to let you down. But we keep coming back because we're fans and we're addicted to them. So they've got another game today against the Yankees, playing a day game. Logan Gilbert on the mound, but I don't know. It didn't really mean much anymore. Again, 3 back, really 4 back in the wild card, 10 or 5 games back in the division. There with Houston. So with what, 10 games remaining? I mean, it would epic collapse like we've never seen before in baseball history. Hey, before we talk to Mike Garafolo, the Seahawks advantage, real quickly, the Seahawks, as you start looking at the season here, they've got just a real golden opportunity. And we talked about this yesterday with Danny Kelly. They got a chance to really take advantage of the schedule that is put forth right now for them. One, they get a Dolphins team in here coming in Sunday, who of course is a talented team. But, with no Tua Tagovailoa, you got to win that game, obviously. You go to Detroit on the road Monday Night Football. I'm going to chalk that up as a loss. You come back, you get the Giants. You should be 4-1 before you host the Niners. And my point yesterday to Danny was 4-1 with a banged-up team, a banged-up Niners. And you get them at home. Everyone's going to be juiced. Everyone's going to be into it. Point is, this weekend and the Giants game, you can't kick any of those games. You cannot kick those games before you face the 49ers. We get Garafolo on here in a second. We'll get some injury updates. I mean, obviously, the most notable injury update is going to be on Ken Walker. He did not practice on Wednesday. So is this going to be an injury that's going to linger? Is it going to keep him out for a second straight week? People who cover the team, Michael Shandugar, Bob Condotta, kind of hinting at that. It could keep him out again. And also one thing to keep in mind is playing Miami and where Mike McDaniel came from with San Francisco. Now you're going to get a little bit of insight this week how McDonald is going to play San Francisco in a few weeks because of Mike McDaniel. Now it's not all the same what he ran with San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan and all that. And he's put his own new little wrinkles on it, but there's a lot of similarities. Now the biggest thing is that Tua is not playing this week, so you're not going to get the full arsenal that McDaniel would throw at you. McDonald has faced McDaniel twice in his career, defensive coordinator of the Ravens against Miami. First time was in 2022. Second time last season, 1-1. Now, in 2022, I would cover your eyes or I would cover your ears because it did not go well for Mike McDonald and his defense. 42-38, the Dolphins beat them, and they they scored 28 points in the fourth quarter. Tua had 6 touchdowns. They had 547 yards in that game. 461 yards passing. They only rushed for 86 on the ground, but they didn't really need to rush because they were passing all over the place. Last season, the Ravens ended up winning in another shootout for them, 56-19. They gave up 375 yards total, 221 yards passing, 154 yards rushing. They did force 3 turnovers. So in the 2 meetings that McDaniel and McDonald have gone against each other, McDonald's defense against McDaniel's offense averaging 30 and a half points a game, averaging 461 yards on the ground, 341 yards through the air, 120 yards on the ground. But McDonald's defense did force 5 turnovers in that game. What does that mean? Nothing. I just thought I would look it up and share it, but it means nothing because the teams are all totally different. But I just thought it'd be a fun little exercise to look at, to see what McDonald did against him. But again, with no Tua there, it doesn't really mean anything. Probably not. But, it's a fun stat. Praise me for at least looking something up, right? Doing actually some work. You want some concerns about the team? I would go and read Michael Shandugar's piece that he did on The Athletic, just talking about the running game concerns, talking about the O-line issues and why they're not running the ball right now, and their problems with running the ball, their problems with run blocking. Numbers are not good. Numbers are not good at all. All right, let's talk a little more NFL. Our NFL guest, he joins us every single week. It's I don't know if I can pull him on here, Mike Garafolo, who is waiting by here in the lobby, and we're going to get him on in here, and we'll talk some storylines with Mike, and we'll get some perspective here on the season of where the Seahawks are going to go right now, and other NFL storylines from the National Football League. And for some reason, he is not being able to get let in. I don't know why. there was always going to be something that was going to go amiss here. And I'm not sure why we can't get him in. Give me 1 second. We'll pull him up. Come on, Mike, get let in here for a second. I don't know why Mike can't get into the interview, but we'll try to get him in. We'll try to sneak him in here in a second. It says he's waiting in the lobby. Well, I see that you're waiting in the lobby, Mike. How about you come on in? There you go. I couldn't get you in forever. What the hell was the problem? Probably on my end. Look at you. How are you, sir? Mike's good. He's setting up his equipment. We're getting ready. This is the
No. I was set up.
You were. You were great. This is the beauty of doing it live. This was on my end. For some reason, it wasn't letting you in. I'm trying to tap dance, and it was a terrible tap dance. It was awful. How are you?
Good. Everything came unplugged as I was trying to figure out what the problem was. So
no, it was
plug everything back in.
Not on your end. It was on my end. Mike Garafolo. It's brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance, your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. Okay. They've got honesty. They got fairness. They got integrity. You can contact Jamie Hartley at 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island. Perfect spot to grab a cold beer, hang out with friends, and catch the game. Enjoy the Northwest summer. It's almost over. The fall. Fall's wonderful here, too.
Fall's up in a couple days, bro.
It's right here. Check out Zogs on Facebook and Instagram on their new fall hours.
It's been consistently 80 degrees around here. How's it been? How's it been by you?
It's 65-ish.
All right.
It's nice. I'll take 65. It's fat guy weather. Take that. All right?
Yeah. Doesn't get crazy cold by you, though. Like, we deal with the 20s down into the single digits. You're at least,
No, we're good.
Your idea of a cold day is like high 30s?
Yeah, 30s, 40s. Well, but here's the deal, Garafolo. We get 40s in like constant darkness and rain. Okay, and that's miserable.
No, I'm not saying you got it easy. I'm just saying you don't like you've got the cool weather before us now, but then we pass you as we get into winter.
Correct, sir. Hey, let's. Do you have can we get an update on Ken Walker? If you have it, please, because I'd love to know what's going on there with Ken Walker.
Well, didn't practice again yesterday, right? So not a great sign here, but I always the injured reserve 4-week thing has become a guideline for if they don't put him on injury reserve, right? It's an indication that he's going to be back within 4 weeks. Like that's been the way it's been since they've changed the rule. So that's my understanding, and it's been 1 week now. He's got to get himself going this week. It's apparently a significant enough, painful enough injury for him that he's very much a question mark for this week, and then I guess we'll see if he doesn't play this week.
It's weird because he left the game and he didn't seem to have any issue. In fact, he was telling the reporters that there was nothing really wrong with him.
I don't know what he said immediately after the game. You're saying?
Yeah, he indicated that it's not really a big deal. Maybe players say that all the time.
As Ian and I say all the time, the worst sources on injuries are the players themselves, because they're either lying or they think like, it's no problem, no big deal, whatever. Yeah, but this is something that we talked about oblique being a baseball injury. When you gotta make moves like that and it just locks up, it's a painful thing to deal with.
Yeah, we'll see what they had a lengthy injury report. I mean, DK was on that as well. Just to quickly recap what they did in week 2, and then we'll move on to some of the other storylines in the NFL. I mean, it wasn't the prettiest win, but it's just a gutsy win against a team, Mike, that might be better than people realize in the Patriots.
Yeah, I think they're not as talented, and tonight they're without the left side of their offensive line. So let's see how that goes, the tackle and the guard out. And David Andrews seems like he's going to play, but he's obviously ailing with that hip injury at center. So they're playing tough. They're playing inspired. They've got some schemes that are a little bit different from what people have seen, particularly defensively. So I wonder, as maybe teams start to get some more film on these guys, if all of a sudden, they won't be. I think they'll play you tough all year long. And Jacoby Brissett, coming into the season, I think of Jacoby Brissett as a guy who plays winning football and has in the past, and won games with the Patriots, with the Texans, and so it's not surprising to me that he is coming into this season and putting them in a position to win. So yeah, I don't. When you say it's an ugly win, it almost kind of indicates like, well, I should have blown that team away. But look, you're coming cross country. I know in talking to Seahawks folks last week, they were saying, boy, that's a tough team. It's a physical team. It's a hard playing team, and they got that and everything on Sunday. So to come out of there with a win, you feel good about it. Particularly a team, first year head coach. It's which is not to say that anybody expected them to be 4-13, but to go in there. Across the country, his first cross-country trip as a head coach, and to do a nice job to come out with a win. I thought that was solid.
And I like ugly wins, okay?
Okay.
I do. I'm a big fan of ugly wins. I do. I don't care how people win games. Like, it's just there's this old defensive coordinator. We used to have him on the show a long time ago. He was the old defensive coordinator for the Oregon Ducks. His name was Nick Aliotti. He had this great soundbite. He goes, you know what? Because we were talking about yard. He was the coordinator for Oregon. They would give up a bunch of yards all the time. And for the most part, like points, but they would always kind of, for the most part, kind of hunker down in the red zone. And he just said, you know what? All you got to do is suck less than the opponent. And I was like, that's true. It doesn't really matter like how you do it. I don't get caught up in like yards given up. I mean, it's about points, but they they didn't play the cleanest game in the world, but they're out without Walker, but they still walked out of there. You're right about their first cross country road trip, and they came out with a win. Yeah.
Mike McDonald's off to a good start. I mean, it seems like they're pleasantly, I don't want to say surprised, but they're just, we'll stick with pleased. They're pleased with the way he's got these guys to focus and kind of lock in now that they've seen it into the regular season. And again, that plays into what I talked about last week, which is those back-to-back safeties and things not going well against the Broncos and really not blinking. And that's, as I cover this league and talk to people around the league, it's like that's something that is so big for coaches anymore is the ability to handle adversity. Like the Eagles talked about that they didn't do it so well in week 2, but they were talking about that week 1. It's like things were not going well early. Last year we buckled all the way down the stretch. Every time things weren't going well early, we dug in against the Packers, able to turn it around. What was the other team that I just covered recently that the Falcons were feeling that way on Monday night. But of course that game goes differently if Saquon just catches the football. And
you're right. Hold on, stop there. Because then the narrative is, again, he can't win. Yeah. And when's Michael Penix going to play? Yeah. And now we're talking about all the Eagles' problems, right? Like, which, to be fair, that media core down there, even when a team is winning, will ask the tough questions, will hit the hard angles. To the point where sometimes they'll be like, we're 11-1. Why are you people like, you go to these press conferences on Mondays and they feel like, whatever. So they're good about that. They don't write fluff pieces. It's a good media core. You got to have thick skin if you want to play or coach in Philadelphia. So they probably would have anyway, but nationally it's now like, what's the Eagles' problem? Well, they were almost 2-0 and we never would have had this conversation. The conversation would have been, wow, how about those Eagles turned it around? They're 2-0 if the guy that their biggest acquisition in the offseason catches the football.
Which, by the way, is not to say that I was on board with that call. You don't put the ball in the air in that spot, okay? Bad things can happen. Ball can be tipped at the line of scrimmage. He could drop the ball. The ball could doink off his helmet and pop in the air, interception, pick 6 the other way. Now, you say, you hand the ball off. He could fumble. Yeah, okay, great. Like, we can do that. But there's more things that can go wrong when you throw the football than when not. Now, the counter to that also was, well, look how quickly they scored. Yeah, but if they run the ball, the Falcons get the ball back with under a minute to go. I did the math. Yeah. It's like 55 seconds instead of a minute 45. That changes everything on both sides of the ball. Mentality, play calls, everything.
I think and then on top of that from that game was the defense by the Eagles. Isn't Fangio the D coordinator, right?
Yep.
What was that? I mean, it looked like he was playing prevent.
Well, he was to a certain extent, and maybe
letting him complete everything on it.
Well, yeah, and maybe you say, the safeties were playing deeper than they should have been, allowing too much there. Which again, it changes with 55 seconds left to go, you're not like letting them get what they were, and you're probably defending the sidelines a little better. They were getting out of bounds on some of these plays and all that stuff. So that was not great for Vic Fangio. It was not great for the personnel up front. They're not getting after the passer. They gave a ton of money to Bryce Huff and traded away Hassan Reddick. And that does not seem to be working out so well. Their defensive linemen, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, were drafted extremely highly, not having consistent production the way that they would like to have those guys. I mean, Carter's playing all right, but Davis is not. So yeah. They got some issues.
What are we already done with Bryce Young in Carolina now? Is that over?
I mean, they're saying no, and I sort of believe that they believe that. But Bryce is not happy.
No.
If Andy Dalton plays well, when are you going to turn it back over to him? Right. I don't think Andy Dalton's going to turn them into a playoff team. Right. But if Andy Dalton is under center, things are going to go more smoothly. I truly believe that. And they've got enough talent. I mean, everybody in this league's got enough talent to win a couple of games. So they've got enough talent to start winning some ball games. I just, as we get closer to firstly the trade deadline, and secondly, the offseason, I just feel like, and I'm not saying, I don't know what Bryce Young has. I haven't been told anything, but at some point he'll probably say, I need a fresh start. Like, you guys mishandled the situation this year and pulled me so quickly. I know what you're saying about we could have a reset, and potentially he could, but at some point maybe he makes the move to say, hey, why don't we get me out of here?
Have you already looked at the odds of when Dave Canales will be fired?
Have I looked at the odds? I have not, but I'm sure you got them ready.
No, I haven't. I'm just wondering if you have. I mean, what's the likelihood he makes the whole season?
Odds are not. I mean, are you asking me actual odds? Because I don't. We do that on the network. Not something like that. We wouldn't put up there, but we do odds on the network. But I don't do the odds thing.
It's not zero.
It's not zero.
Yeah.
It's not zero. And I would hope that David Tepper. I mean, I would hope a lot of things for David Tepper, but I would hope that David Tepper would at least have a little bit of patience here and see what can happen. Because if you're firing him early, like, what's the point? You're not getting a jump on. You're not going to be the place where people go, well, I got to go to Carolina. So
you think he can tell? What are some lessons learned? I mean, I think I saw a headline from Baker Mayfield. I mean, it's where Mayfield basically, I think, is saying to Young, your career is not written yet. You still have plenty of time to change the narrative.
Yeah. So what do you mean? It's lesson learned for Bryce Young or for?
Well,
for
no,
who?
I mean, I think for Mayfield, I think Mayfield is saying to Bryce Young, look at me. Here, I was the guy who technically flamed out, but I've been able to turn it around. Yeah. You can do the same thing as well. And
we've seen some other guys to certain degrees. So I don't believe necessarily that he's done. Bryce Young came from Alabama, where he had a ridiculous offensive line, where he had targets that people were afraid of, and defensively, and you could manipulate things and move that's what he was trying to do last year. And I remember talking to members of the coaching staff last year who were saying, we're trying to teach him, you can't play quarterback that way. This isn't Alabama in the SEC. This is Carolina in the NFL. And we're going to get you targets and people around you, which they may, they obviously did work on the offensive line, but they may have been able to do better from a target standpoint. And until we get to that point, you really can't. The clock needs to be quicker. Your fourth option is not a real fourth option in the way that you're used to it being. So that's what they were trying to do with him last year. So if you get him in a situation where he's got that again, okay, I remember how to do this quarterback thing. Of course, a lot of times when you get that situation, unless you're Sam Darnold, who just not that he fell into it, but who landed there. It's tough to find those situations because they usually already have established quarterbacks.
Yeah, he looked great. What the injuries mounting? It just seems like there's a lot of injuries that are mounting for a lot of different teams. Yeah. And you look, especially in the NFC West. I mean, I can't keep track of how many players for the Rams are hurt. It's like the entire team is hurt.
Same
and then the Niners are facing the same thing. You got McCaffrey's out. Now you've got how long is Deebo Samuel out for now?
Debo's out. I don't know. What is the timeline on that? That's a good question, actually.
3-4 weeks at least?
Yeah. Well, no. They didn't put him on IR yet, right?
No.
I don't know. I don't know the exact. Honestly, I've got so much going on. I got Jets Patriots tonight. I have not checked in on Deebo Samuel on his timeline, so I'd be lying if I gave you a fake one.
But it's just I guess the comment is that they for the Seahawks right now, how they're playing. This is gravy for them. I mean, they've been relatively healthy.
Yeah.
And then, your two biggest rivals just have mounting injuries left and right now. The
and
flip
playing
side is
each other.
playing each other.
One of the great tweets I saw this week was from our guy Patrick Claybon, who co-hosts NFL Daily with Greg Rosenthal. He said, Niners, this was like Monday, 49ers Rams is going to be played inside an MRI machine. So I thought that was great. He's a great follow. And it sucks for the Rams because I think I certainly did have higher expectations for them this year. And I know Sean McVay's got to be frustrated as all hell with some of these injuries that are happening and the abundance of them. So they'll keep fighting. He'll make no excuses and try to get them out of this. But, man, it's tough right now.
Hey, I know it's like 2 weeks into the season, but there's been these numbers that have floated out. Like offense is down, like scoring is down, number of 300-yard passing games is down.
Mm-hmm.
Influx of just what? Is it lack of playing in the preseason? Is it just there's a lot of young quarterbacks in the league? I mean, what is it? Is there any rhyme or reason to it?
Yeah, the rookies are not doing so great off the jump here. I think Jaden Daniels probably the best of the bunch so far, and even he hasn't hit his stride by any stretch. So yeah, I think that's probably a little bit of it. And the other thing is defenses are getting better. Defenses are scheming things up extremely well. And we talked about the Patriots. That's one of them, and their ability to do things up there. And I just feel like defensively and defensive schemes have caught up to a lot of the things that offenses have been doing successfully. It always happens. I mean, no matter what you see, Wildcat and all this stuff, zone read and the college stuff, eventually defenses catch up on stuff, and that may be what we're seeing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been on. I think if it holds like 21 points or something, it's gonna be the lowest since like 2006. Something like that, which is just ridiculous.
Which is around the time they really started to, maybe it was 2004-ish, where they started to really clamp down on the illegal contact and the holding defensively. That really opened things up.
Hey, what's the latest with Jordan Love in Green Bay? How close is he to returning?
Yeah, he's got a shot. So this would be week 2, which means he would have only missed 1 week with the MCL. A lot of times with the MCL injury, it's like and I remember talking to Sean O'Hara about this. Sean O'Hara, I was covering the Giants, and most recently my colleague at NFL Network, but their center, he missed the first playoff game in 2007 on their way to the Super Bowl. I'm like, how bad were you hurt? Knowing you, like, to miss that, he's like, MCL injuries, he goes, they are god-awful. And then all of a sudden, you turn the corner. He missed the 1 week, and he was back the following week. He said, you turn the corner at, like, day 10. I think that's when they said the number, day 10 or day 11. He goes, that's exactly what happened with me. He's like, woke up, and all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, this thing's much better. And I want to say that was a grade 1 or 2, and, Loves his – I saw something where he's in between a 1 and a 2. What is it, a 1.5? So, that's about the time frame. So it's not surprising to me that all of a sudden I saw the initial 3 to 6 week timeline. I never expected him to miss 6 weeks. I thought 2 to 3 from what I was understanding. So yeah, for him to be on the earlier side, it's great news for the Packers. Now they got to make a decision. Do you want a guy who's going to be limited in that he's still not going to be 100%? So do you want a guy who's limited physically, as long as he can protect himself, which will be part of the whole situation here, limited physically, or do you want a guy who's limited from a playbook standpoint, which they did a great job last week. Matt LaFleur did a fantastic coaching job from a motivational standpoint, from an X's and O's standpoint, to draw up some stuff that made Malik Willis confident. So which one would you?
What do we got? You have a bird in your house?
No, it's not a bird.
Is it your phone?
Is it a Vespa? Some guy's unlocking his Vespa. Some kind of small.
Yeah, it's a Vespa. It sounds like a bird.
No, he's like, I guess he has an alarm on the Vespa.
What do we think about guys in Vespas?
I don't mind them. I was going to buy one for us, and I haven't done that yet.
I don't mind them as well. After spending time in Italy last summer, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Easy way to get around.
It's like when Michael Scott goes to Jamaica and comes back and has the beads in his hair.
Yeah. Exactly.
And he's playing the steel drum, feeling hot, hot, hot.
I think when I came back last year from Italy, I want a Vespa, the shorter pants, and pick up smoking. The trifecta.
Yeah, they say it all the time. Those guys over there smoke like crazy, and yet they're not getting
it's unbelievable.
The disease rates that we are over here.
It's unreal. It's unreal how much they smoke over there. And you look at him like, I don't understand. How do you do this? Like every time I turn around, you've got another cigarette in your mouth. You read into anything? There's some stuff with Caleb Williams, and he's going to be a hot button topic probably for his entire career. Some people don't like his attitude, the way he conducts himself and carries himself.
His nail polish, they don't like that either.
That just angers everybody. The nail polish, my God.
Trust me, I hear it. I see it. I don't care.
Well, no one should care. It's him. It's him. It's what he wants to do. But
they're triggered. That's the word.
Yeah,
triggered.
Yeah, I always think of that one GIF, the triggered GIF, where it's the girl with the glasses and the short hair, and she's like freaking. That's my favorite one. The exchange between him and Stroud. Are we reading too much into that, or yes?
No,
he did look dismissive, like, okay, whatever you say. And Stroud's trying to say, hey man, I'm just trying to give you some advice. And
I don't know. I don't know. I think he was, I think Caleb's had a better vision for how this was going to go. I think Caleb's also tried to do some things that worked at USC that aren't going to work at the NFL level, that he's learning these lessons and hopefully learning these lessons quickly. Because some balls that he used to throw, I mean, he got picked on the same pass up the left sideline twice. One of them got negated by a penalty, if I'm remembering this correctly, the other night. He went back to it and didn't put it in the right spot. It's like, okay, that's a smaller window in the NFL. So I think he's learning these things. There was that play in week 1 where he tried to roll out, and it's like 3 Titans were waiting for him. That's not going to work here at this level. So, I think he's and he's an emotional guy. We saw the emotions last year, particularly after they lost. I think it was the Notre Dame game where he was in the stands, and we saw that. So, he's an emotion on the sleeve type of guy. We'll see how it goes, but you want to start to get some things going. And they got Indianapolis this week. So you hope they can put some points on the board against them.
Well, and then the other storyline, I sent it to you because you've got so much going on, you probably haven't seen it. There's this video and this is never good. This is never good. There's video out there, of Rome Odunze's father.
Yes,
who has apparently gotten, everyone can get this, the all-22 film. And he is breaking down plays showing his son wide open.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, when a parent gets a hold of the all-22 and starts posting this on Twitter 2 weeks into the NFL season, this ain't good.
No.
Now, I didn't know anything about this because, of course, he's a Washington kid right in our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But Husky fans were telling me that this does not surprise them. So apparently this dad is like this.
Weren't we worried about Caleb's dad coming in? I guess we were worried about the wrong Bears draft picks.
Does Caleb's dad have a problem too? I didn't know that.
So they're not hiring an agent because the dad wants to run the show and the dad's, yeah.
So you know what I want now? I want Caleb's dad now to go on Twitter to highlight Odunze not getting open. This is what we need, Mike. His is
more behind the scenes. Caleb's dad. So maybe he comes out now. Maybe he opens up an account. Who knows? But
sure, open up an account and let's have dad on dad.
Yeah, cry. But this reminds me of was he in Cleveland? I think he was in Cleveland because it was about Baker. When Odell was in Cleveland and his dad was tweeting, look at this play. And you sent me, is there commentary on it or is it just the clip?
No, just the clip.
Okay. So it's
it's just a clip showing him wide open in the end zone.
I'm not saying anything. You tell me what you see, like that type of thing.
Exactly right. Yeah. Some are saying it's in response to, I think, comments made by Dan Orlovsky or something about Odunze not getting open or separation or something.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then, you know what? He didn't start it then.
Yeah, but parents don't need to be on all 22 and tweeting it out. It's just
I understand
a good
that.
idea.
I understand that, particularly when you get to this level. Yeah.
Yeah, come on. This isn't Pop Warner anymore.
Yeah. So NFL. it's it goes back. Did you see Dion's comments yesterday about how college players?
Jesus.
What?
Yes, I saw it.
Did you agree with him?
No.
Why not?
This is what they signed up for.
I guess.
You wanted the players to be paid?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then when you pay the players, criticism is going to follow. Don't professional athletes get criticized all the time?
They do, and we say they're getting paid. They're pros. They should be able to handle it.
So are college kids. They're getting paid. This guy's making more. How much is kids making?
Huh?
Travis Hunter's making like $4 or $5 million.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys are staying in college because they're making more than they would in the NFL.
But
that's for sure. Yeah.
But I would also challenge Dion there. What was said?
I don't even know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think anything was said, Mike. He's just making stuff up.
But it might be social media stuff, right? Like stuff that, so now the media, so now he's taking it as, well, you guys, right? Now, and I don't know, maybe he did see something, but you guys, the media, but when in reality, it may be social media being lumped in with the media. Correct. I don't know.
That's what I think. I think part
and also the media has now, like, that umbrella is so much bigger because there's so many more podcasts and PuckSports and these things.
Well, all of it. Yeah. I mean, it could be anybody. It's not like, like actual hard, I don't know what you would call it, not credentialed, because some of these places are credentialed.
Traditional media.
Legacy media, I guess, is what you would say.
It's a nice way of putting it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. But
I still think from the age, I mean, I was stupid. I was a stupid human being until I was 26. And then I started to get smart. Like 26. Now that would be halfway through my NFL career, a long NFL career. So sometimes I cover these guys, even the early part of their careers. And it's like, you got to cover them on a curve here, right? Like, because my brain wasn't, and I'm not in the spotlight the way these guys are. And a lot of times these guys come from really tough upbringings, at least I had a stable household. And still, till the age of 26, I'm telling you, like, the light cast when I met my wife too. So thankfully that coincided because I had met her before that.
I'm just surprised 26 was, I'm 38, 40 maybe for me. Maybe. I think I'm maybe.
Well,
I'm still an idiot.
Well, into NFL retirement at that point. Yeah.
Well, yeah. My wife would say you are the biggest idiot I've ever met, which is true. But the Sanders thing, I mean, it was sidetracked here, but like you've seen the video last week, the handshake. I guess this does apply to the NFL because there's NFL teams that are going to look at that and they're going to ask themselves, do we want to invest into Shedeur Sanders?
Oh man, this is going to be one of the all-time combine draft process.
It's going to be fantastic.
I mean,
does Dion come with? Hey, if we draft him, do we take Dion too?
We got Johnny, right? We got Johnny Manziel. We had Manti Te'o for different reasons.
Hey, where is he?
We've had my colleague Manti Te'o now at the NFL Network. Good Morning Football.
God, he works with you now.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of like the Tebow for another they're all for different reasons. This one's going to be, I mean, I would put this kind of sort of Shedeur be closer to Manziel than he would be for the other two that I just mentioned, but this is going to be some process, man.
My point was going to be, I don't fault what he did after the game. And that may surprise. That quarterback for Colorado State talked a lot of shit all week long. A lot of shit. Mm-hmm. And you know what? He had it coming to him after that game. You want to talk like that? You better back it up. You want to run out of bounds and do the little short thing on Travis Hunter, who might be the best player in college football.
After like a 3-yard gain too, wasn't it?
Exactly. You better back it up. So I didn't have a problem with how he handled himself after the game. And there's plenty of other stuff that he's done that I have an issue with. Not that though. Okay. Because that dude had it coming to him.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot.
You think he's a top overall pick? Sure?
I do not think so. No, I don't. That would surprise me. I think Quinn Ewers, who is not going to play this weekend, if I saw that correctly. Yeah. Arch Manning gets the start. I think Quinn could be up there, and who's the other kid? Beck.
Yeah, Carson Beck.
Yeah. Starting to hear a lot. I mean, I'm not into the draft stuff, so don't quote me on that just yet.
Yeah. You think okay, last thing, and then we'll cut you loose. All right. We went down this rabbit hole, and now I'm in. Dion. You think everyone thinks his next stop, he's going to leave Colorado at some point. He'll probably leave after this year.
Right.
And you think college. What about the pros? What about Dallas?
What about Dallas?
If they get rid of him,
I would
McCarthy.
not. No, I wouldn't think so. I would not think so. I would think that there would be enough. Because everybody thinks like Jerry's just there shooting off the hip and doing whatever Jerry wants. That's
what I think.
No, Stephen Jones is there. Will McClay is there. Okay. They got a lot of folks there. They go, hold on, let's think about this. Let's not just have, and he does a good job of letting his people make collective decisions. So, I don't. That would surprise me very much. I actually think McCarthy might wind up getting an extension, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right, you're the best. Have fun on the. What time do we see you on TV tonight for Jets and Patriots?
I don't know. 6. We got a fast TV show, free ad supported TV show.
Yes,
the Insiders tonight is. I love fast TV, free ad supported TV. So basically TV. We're back to TV, and we gave it a new name.
I love it. Only we would do that.
So, we got a fast TV show. It's also on YouTube with the Insiders. We're taping it at 4. I think it's up at like 6. Then I think I'm on the network at 6 p.m. for NFL Game Day kickoff with MJD, Rhett Lewis. I forget who else is on, but I'll be on from the stadium, from MetLife, which reminds me, I got to go.
All right, we'll see you later. Bye, Mike.
Thank you, homeboy.
There he is, Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, brought to you by Hartley & Hartley Insurance, your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. Honesty, fairness, integrity. You can contact Jamie Hartley when he's not playing golf, Jamie. 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island, Andrew Herzog. Perfect spot to grab a cold beer. Watch his beloved Ducks. You can hang out with friends and catch the game. The summer is winding down, but it's perfect for fall season there as well. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram. All right. Well, we've gone from the NFL. Now we're going to talk a little baseball with the great Brad Adam from Root Sports, who joins. Hi. Oh, there he is.
Hey, whoa.
Hey.
How we doing,
Hey-o. Brad, look, you want to put on any more Mariners gear?
Hey,
Jeez.
hey, I'm going to the game today as a fan. I'm taking pops, and I'm going as a fan. So do you think I blend? Is it too much? Do you think I blend?
No, I like it. It looks good. I like it. It looks good.
Right? Okay. Hey, I need to ask you, where are the, what is it, the value beers or the cheaper beers?
Have you never been to a game there?
Yeah, but I'm working. I can't drink beer while I work. I'm not like you, Puck.
You can drink beer anytime you want. Did you ever listen to Niehaus for those years?
Great point. That wasn't beer, my friend.
That was brown water.
Exactly.
Sipping on.
Woo!
All right.
Where are the value beers?
It's behind home plate. You know where the Hall of Fame wall is?
Yeah.
Back there.
Oh, okay.
It's great. Do you like you ever had Victoria beer?
I don't think so.
It's a
Victoria, what?
It's a no. It's a Mexican beer. It's a great beer. Victoria comes in a small 12-ounce cans, which I prefer. I don't like the big 24-ounces. I'm so tired of they're too big and too warm. I don't like them.
They get warm at the end.
Yeah.
All right.
The go get a Victoria. It's the Hall of Fame section. It's right behind home plate. Enjoy yourself with the
I'm excited.
Pops. Good for you.
Yeah, I said, hey, Pop, you want to, get on the field? You want to do this, that? He's like, nope. I just want to go as a fan. I go, you want to go in the tunnel? Or nope. I just want to go be a fan. I want 300 level. I want to look out at the water. I want to walk around. I told Angie and Val I'm going to come heckle them pregame show.
Yeah. Yes, you should.
With beers in my hand going, you suck,
yeah,
Valley!
Because
you suck!
Because that's what people do to you. That's what people do to you.
It's all coming back now. Yep.
You know what I forgot is Brad joins us every single Thursday. It's brought to you by the great John Howie Steak.
Yes.
Play our commercial. There's Brad. Where's John?
There's There I am.
There he is. There's Brad.
There I am, getting served
and not being able to meet the great John Howie. Brad joins us every week, again brought to you by John Howie Steak. Entertain your next clients, family, and friends at John Howie Steak. Have the best dining experience in the city. JohnHowieSteak.com. Well, third base, huh?
Wow. Wow. I mean, third base in the two games. I mean, which was a bigger base running blunder, in your opinion? Robles stealing home, bases loaded, 3-0 count, which he admitted he had no idea it was a 3-0 count. I thought that was really, really smart to say. Or Julio last night.
And still has not talked to the manager at the time? That I didn't understand either.
That I find hard to believe. Yeah. Or Julio last night.
Why lie about that, though?
I have no idea. That was just a weird situation. And I've never seen anything close to what happened to Julio last night.
No.
Right?
No, not at all. I for me, and I think Robles is the more egregious.
I think so too, because that was more of a mental error than because Julio was really caught off guard. You know, you're watching it.
I get it. I get why he jumped out of the way.
Yeah, you see Rainey lose the bat, and I'm watching on the screen because we don't have Julio in the picture, and you see Wells get up and throw to third. I'm like, what are you doing throwing to third? And he's out. I'm like, how in the world is he out?
Yeah.
Then you see the replay, and you kind of understand it. He just kind of thought it was a dead ball and was having some fun running towards the Yankees dugout. And then, you know, Manny Acta, third base coach, said, get on the bag. Dude, get on the bag. Yeah. And she was almost, So, I mean, heads up by the Yankees. It was just really unfortunate because it was really kind of set up. You were thinking and hoping that, you know, first and third, no outs. You got to get at least one to tie. I mean, it was looking good for them. And now the math becomes, I think, somewhat simple, Puck. They need to win out. The math is simple. I don't know every game. Because if you win every game, then you hope Houston goes 5-5.
Yeah. And
you win the West. A little easier maybe in the wild card, but you got other teams. It's about the same. Basically, win out.
All right, let's do it. Who do they have anybody in their clubhouse like they can peel off? Like, you know, like in Major League. Do they have anybody like motivation where they can start peeling off the wings?
You have layers of clothes.
Because I'm envisioning. I have a buddy that's a Tigers fan. Shout out Derek if you're watching.
How about the Tigers, by the way?
I think the Tigers have a cutout of Mitch Haniger in their clubhouse.
Huh.
And every time they win, they just peel off another section with his quote saying, well, we should beat them. We're better than them.
I forgot about that quote. Yeah, you're probably right.
It's a tough one.
For the Mariners,
what do you got up there? I don't know. What would you put in there?
Somebody from the Astros. That's a team they dislike the most.
Sure.
Who was
Altuve or?
Yeah, maybe Altuve for cheating in the buzzer. Maybe Neris for hitting.
I did appreciate Altuve. Though,
yeah, let's go Altuve. Hey,
of ripping off his shoe and sock.
Wow,
and,
and look at this.
Like, listen here, you son of a bitch. He hit me right there.
And he gets tossed. And then what was even more surprising, in the bottom of the 10th, Profar doesn't get hit. They say he did. He's arguing, I didn't get hit. The Astros are arguing he didn't get hit. And then it was upheld. And both teams are livid, which I'm like, that's bizarre.
I've never seen
that either. And just it's wild times, you know, in baseball now. And it's just,
So the Julio play last night, I would just say this. I mean, it's a terrible play. He's got to be smarter than that. You know, I wondered out loud, does Manny Atkin need to be a little bit more quicker on the response there? I don't know. It's bang, bang play. He's got a flying bat coming at him. He's got to get out of the way or he's going to get hit by the bat. Clearly doesn't need to drift that far off. And then when he does drift off, he needs to have the self-awareness to know that it's not a dead ball, that he's got to get back.
Right.
And I just wonder with the rules, did he think, I mean, there's two scenarios. One, he thinks that that Arozarena hit it, or he just thinks that if a bat is flying at you, that it's automatically a dead ball.
Dead ball.
He must think that.
That's my guess too. Absolutely. And it was just unfortunate. I said the timing was just terrible to lose like that, and then to have the Yankees celebrate in the clubhouse. So it was a tough one. A tough one of many tough losses this year. You just feel like so many opportunities, Puck. You feel like this was the year, right? With Houston being down, Texas terrible, under 500. I mean, the West has never been more winnable. And they've got the best pitching staff in baseball, and they just didn't do enough offseason or at the deadline to help those guys out. And it's just it's frustrating for sure for everybody involved.
Yeah. And I think that's you go back into the beginning of the season, like, or when was this season lost? I mean, it's lost in the offseason. It's just lost. It's lost that they could not take advantage of just an unbelievable pitching staff. To me, it's a wasted year. I've never been more disappointed, I think, in a baseball season than this. And I think I said the same thing last year, coming off of what I did. And now this year,
coming off a playoff year, right.
This year has topped that. I mean, I said this in the beginning of the show that it's not even 2 years ago. They're right there with the Astros.
Absolutely.
could have won each one of those games, and they obviously they didn't make enough plays, and it's over, it's done. So it's just it's ridiculous,
right? And now you go into the off season knowing that. I mean, I think this will be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, offseason in franchise history in terms of what I think they're going to try to do as far as, trades. I think it's just going to be really active, and I think the team will look drastically different next year. So
who do you think they're going to trade? Who do you think they're going to move on, try to get out of here?
I mean, every time you watch the rotation, you're like, who would what, certain teams want? Brian Woosman's so good. Yankees got him a little bit, sure. Bryce Miller was so good last night. Kirby was so good the other night against Texas. Logan's been good all year, and Luis, we know how good he is. It's just, I don't know. It depends, on salary. If you're trying to move salary, like with Luis, if you're trying to move another player to dump salary, like a Garver Haniger type, you got to pair that with someone. It's like I said, I mean, who knows what they're going to do, but it will be very interesting. And I think they'll be very active. I don't think that they can go into next year with the bulk of these hitters back and expect different results.
Well, so I mean, because they clearly are not going to go. I mean, we're going to, financially speaking, right? What are they?
Right.
They're not going to open up their checkbooks. I mean, it's not. They tried it. They didn't do it last year. They've got so many people, and we've talked about this over and over again. They've got so many people they've got to pay.
Right. That's why I think, if they end up trying to trade, 3-4 of those guys, you can open up a lot of money to either get back in trades or to sign. But I mean, they've had trouble, as we all know, identifying offense. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll get it right this time.
Yeah.
But again, they're close. We see it with this third wild card. They should be in contention every single year with that staff. If they can just augment a little bit offensively, they should
have won the division this year. I mean,
absolutely.
That's the thing.
They're up 10 games in June.
10 games.
Come on.
Astros got injuries everywhere.
Right.
Their entire team is injured. The starting staff, Kyle Tucker misses the entire season.
Right.
And they not only take you over, they do it in like lightning speed.
Right.
And get up to what was their high?
I think it was 6.
6 games.
Right.
They did it in the blink of an eye, Brad.
Yeah, and let me tell you this. Think about this, fans. Their best starting pitcher, Yusei Kikuchi.
He's pitching against them, right?
He's pitching today.
But he's going to pitch against.
I think
Chandler Rome, who covers him, said he's in line to pitch against them.
But if I told you at the beginning of the year, hey Puck, good news, Houston's best starting pitcher is going to be Yusei Kikuchi, you would start celebrating right then.
Of course you would.
You would order playoff tickets right then.
But now I know. Now I've conditioned myself that he's going to shove it down their ass when he pitches against them. He's going to pitch in the finale against them.
Oh, geez, they're 9-0 when he starts. 9-0.
God, that's ridiculous.
Just ridiculous. I mean, they were raked too over the coals for giving up too much for Yusei.
Sure.
They said it was a terrible move. Even their GM said, "Hey, we had to give up a lot because we were desperate. We need a starter." Not terrible now.
Yeah, the game one is going to be Hunter Brown against Miller.
Okay.
Valdez against Gilbert, and then Kikuchi against Kirby.
Nice.
At least that's what I'm showing on ESPN.com.
Who knows if that'll change? You're right. If they've clinched by then, or I just hope that somehow the Mariners are alive and somehow those games can mean something. That's my hope. I hope they win today. Yankees should be about passed out, hungover. Everybody's got shades on today. They're just stumbling in. Yeah. Hopefully they play nobody, but I know they still want to get the East and number 1 seed. So they'll probably
hits you hard. That champagne hits you
hard. Right?
Hits you hard.
So, you take this one with Gilbert and then you roll into Texas. You've handled them all year.
Yeah.
So if you can go win 4 straight and just keep it.
Look at you.
Right. I know. I'm trying.
You are a fan. Good for you.
I'm trying,
you still
man.
have hope, and I love it.
Well, I just want those games to mean something. I don't want Houston to celebrate on the field. in the Mariners series. I don't want Houston to celebrate another West, which would be what, like 6 out of 7 years or 7 out of 8 or something.
They've run
ridiculous.
Probably more.
And this will be their fewest wins, right, that they've ever won it with. So
Again, that's why it's so maddening. That's it's just so maddening with this year, that this was just a moment to finally put them out of their misery.
Exactly. And everybody's rooting for them. Yeah. Texas comes in. They're like, hey, beat Houston. The Angels, everybody's like, hey, you guys, let's go. Beat Houston. Everybody is against Houston. And to their credit, they had a horrible start.
Yeah.
10 down. They figured some things out. And they're Houston.
You go back and like Cleveland's doing is helping them out, this week with Minnesota.
Right.
Yeah. But they can't take advantage of it because the Tigers are playing so much better and they're on. I mean, the Tigers to me is just they sold at the deadline. They were telling their fan base, we're done. We're going to trade not our best pitcher, but one of our really good pitchers. We're going to trade him away. And they're going to make the playoffs.
I mean, Scooble's going to be a Cy Young Award winner. Their young hitters got hot in the second half.
Oh God!
I know they've got a nice core there. So, and they're hot. It just kind of takes that, right? Whoever's hot in September, they're 8-2 their last 10 games. I mean, they're rolling. Look at the Orioles; they're 2-8. They're dying. Royals are kind of dying. It's just once you get in, it's just such a crapshoot. I wouldn't root against or
just
bet
so wide
against.
Open.
Yeah, Yankees, Astros. I mean, Guardian. I mean, they're all flawed. I don't know if there's a one dominant team, even in the National League. Look at the Dodgers. You want to talk about injuries? I mean, I don't know who they've got to pitch. Even Glasnow looks like he's out for the year again. It's like ridiculous outside of the offense, which is great. Obviously, I mean they're a flawed team. I mean, Philly's bullpen isn't very good. Who knows? And it'd be wide open.
We'll go back to Robles for a second.
Okay, all the way back.
Yeah, I want to go all the way back. I want to go full circle because we touched on it and we kind of glossed over it and then we moved on. But, when he says, after the game or the day after, I didn't even know what the count was.
That's a bad look.
How does that happen? I mean, I know mistakes happen, but even if you can't articulate that, can you?
Right.
Maybe don't say that.
Just lie to us. So don't tell us that.
Maybe that's why he does use the translator. Maybe he just doesn't want to. Maybe he shouldn't use it anymore.
Shouldn't use
it. Shouldn't use Freddie.
Yeah, that was disappointing. Yeah. And then with the finger injury, he didn't play yesterday. I don't know if he's going to be able to play today. I mean, he's a guy that kind of like Ty France needs to kind of figure something out where you can't get hit every series. I mean, he is on the plate and does not move.
Yeah. Because he really puts those hands like his stance.
Doesn't move. Yeah.
And he doesn't. He needs to learn from Randy. Hey, when the pitch is coming and you want to take it, just jump out of the box.
Just step out.
Into the dugout.
How is he not hit every game, Randy? And he's hit a lot. But my goodness, if you're stepping out on me, I mean, the Rangers, you knew he was going to get hit.
Sure.
I mean, that was,
he's a polarizing player. He's on your team, you'll take it. When he's not on your team, you can't stand it.
Right. He's one of those guys. Exactly.
How do you think that they feel? Like old school Dan Wilson when he watches it. What do you think? Old school Dan Wilson, managed by one of the more tougher SOBs ever in Lupinella. What do you think? Like the internal voice in Dan Wilson's head is thinking when he watches that?
Probably does not approve of it. Right? I mean, what would Lou do? What would Lou say to that? I mean,
how would Lou? I got into an argument with some people about this because, I didn't like the way that Wilson handled it post game. I just think that I understand.
Was that last night or
with Robles?
Maybe
he's trying to protect him. Whatever
he is.
But I also think it's okay to come out and just say something to where you just don't completely trash the player and just say that's not how we play around here.
Right.
We don't play that way. Victor knows that, but I want the team to know that. I want our fans to know that. We don't play that way. That was not heads-up baseball. That's not Mariners baseball. We are in a pennant race right now. We're in a playoff race right now. Mm-hmm. We can't play that way. I know that he's as disappointed as I am and all you fans are, I know that he's more disappointed in himself, but we can't play that way. It's okay to say that.
I agree with you. Hey, are you writing apologies again? That was
pretty good.
Man.
Well,
that really was good.
When this whole thing flames out, and it's probably sooner rather than later.
When me and you were at John Howie's just drinking that last bottle of scotch together, man. Hey, buddy, we had a good run. We had a good run.
Fun. It was fun when people used to watch and listen to us, but now they've moved on to bigger and better things, and it's happening faster than you realize.
Oh, they're probably going to give us a bill too, because now we just eat and drink for free.
Here's my card. Do you want the?
Yeah.
No, expired. See that date? Expired.
No gift card.
Yeah, no gift card.
But you're right, and I think
Still
that's
says
the right
KJR on it. You can't use it anymore.
but he should have said it last night too with Julio. But you're right.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I've never seen that before. It's a learning play for all of us. But you got to be smarter. You got to just stay to the bag, in that situation. You're right. You're not throwing the player under the bus. You're defending him, but you're also saying that, I'm holding you accountable for this. This is not okay. You're my guy, but we got to be better.
Because I fell into the trap, just going back to Robles, I fell in the trap like other people did. I thought they pulled him. I mean, and I thought they used just the convenient, he got hit on the hand excuse to pull him and then not play him yesterday. But then when he didn't play, but when he didn't play yesterday, I'm like, okay, he was really hurt, because they're not going to, Dan Wilson probably wants to send a message, but he's not going to send a message to take his best player or one of his best hitters out of the game now. Right. But, with Julio, I think he could have done it with Julio yesterday. Mm-hmm. And there was part of me watching you guys last night. Boy, you did a great job, by the way.
I appreciate that.
I didn't think Julio would talk.
I was really impressed. He generally does not talk after losses.
Never talked. I was thinking to myself, how many times have we seen him at his locker this year?
Not very many. So kudos to him.
One hand of it, you can count on one hand how many times you've seen him at his locker.
Yep. So that was impressive. So that was good of him to do that and kind of explain the situation from his mind.
But yes, I agree with you. But did he ever say, I effed up? He seemed to be kind of
those
making
exact
excuses
words.
It's balls, it's bats flying at me.
Right, I'm out of the way.
What am I supposed to do? I got out of the way. I've talked to other players. No one's ever seen.
No one's ever seen it. Right.
I think the Puckett crisis firm. When this is all done, when we write,
that's what we do.
That's
we
what I'm
clean up
do.
people's messes.
Yeah, you can be. Yeah. We can call it the Puckett Adam crisis firm. We'll write excuses for people.
Yeah. Don't have to be in sports. It can be in anything. Any line of work.
Yeah, and then
we got you covered.
We would have written something for Julio last night and just said, "Hey,
make it
that
simple.
was flying at me. Wow. I got out of the way. I screwed up by not getting the bag on time. And I heard Manny yelling at me. I can't do that. We're in a playoff race right now, and I cost us an opportunity to get that win last night. I feel horrible about it as being a guy who's one of the leaders of the team, one of the best players, the best player on the team, face of the organization. I can't do that."
Look at us. Look at our crisis management team.
It's unbelievable.
Should I quit now?
How much we charge?
Should I quit Root now or wait a little bit?
I'd wait before you actually quit. But we've solved it. It's so easy.
Yes, you're right. That's it. Because then you take accountability. Yeah. You apologize and
you deflect, and you always apologize to the fans.
Nice.
All right, and they eat it up. They perfect. It's great. He's sorry.
Right. He understands. Right now, we kind of understand what he was thinking. The process, taking us through the play.
Yeah.
He knows he messed up. He knows he's sorry. We all move on. We're all good. Here we go.
This will be, without a doubt, don't you agree, the most important offseason in his career?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see kind of what staff is coming back. And the big one for me is what happens with Edgar. Does he want to go through a grind? Does he want to maybe come once, a homestand or every other series or something and join the team, at T-Mobile for a while? But I mean, he's made a difference, Well,
what's your feeling on it? You're around him.
I think he might go back to doing what he's kind of been doing the last couple of years, and that's just kind of showing up at home when he's in town and kind of when the team's in town.
I want to be on that schedule.
I know, right? So I think the messaging has been so good. I mean, I think the record now is 13-12 with Dan. So they haven't got quite the stellar play and the bump to get them over the top. But when you look at the offense, I mean, they're top 5 in the league in just about every category since Edgar Dan took over.
Correct.
So it is making a difference, and just keeping things simple. And the approach has worked with Julio, who's had a very disappointing season. I mean, let's be honest, his numbers are half
atrocious.
of what they should be. Yeah, so that it's been a lost year for him.
That's why I said it's the most important offseason for him, because it's like he can't have that again.
Right.
Ever
You're
again.
right. There's no way this team can be a playoff team with Julio like that.
Never.
Because he's going to get a huge bump next year. Gosh, someone who's mentioning they think it might be like 20 next year.
Yeah, no, it is. It jumps to 20. It
Ooh.
goes from 11 to 20.
So he has to play like a superstar next year. And he can't go back to Tampa and go back to his hitting coach doing the same drills
I agree.
indoor.
He
where
needs to
everything is great and you're going to hit and hit and hit. You need to continue what you figured out and changed with Edgar and keep that mentality.
He needs
and
to
keep
fire that guy and not work with
everybody
him
needs a
anymore.
hype guy, right? Everybody needs your hype
just-
guy, social media people. And
Just
people.
talk
Come
to
on.
Edgar. He's in your backyard, and you don't have to pay the guy.
That's right. The team
It's
is
free.
right.
The team's paying
Yeah,
him.
I'd like to see Julio here in the offseason working with Edgar. That'd be great too.
I
I mean, a little.
understand why he'd
but
want to
we'll
go
see.
back to Florida.
No, I
Is that
get
where,
that.
Is that where the offseason is, Florida?
Yeah, Tampa. Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't you
But-
want to be in Tampa in the
for
winter?
sure. But if I come up for 4 days and work with Edgar, I can do
Okay.
that. You know.
But
yeah,
what
you're
are
right.
those 4 days, Brad? Is those 4 days where it's 41 degrees and it's
Yes,
dark
of
by
course.
3:58?
Yes. Yeah, it'll be in January. It'll be full. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But you know that going in. You're not looking to go out. It's a work trip, Puck. Come on. It's a work trip for these 23-year-olds.
He's like, leave. Can't just Edgar just go down there? Fine.
Oh,
Edgar wants
maybe
to get out of
okay.
here.
Maybe Edgar will do that. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's smarter. But you're right. He needs to take a step forward because you look at all these other young stars around the league who've taken a huge step forward and just passed Julio. I mean, it's just
Well, Adley Rutschman didn't have a good season.
true. But Gunnar Henderson did.
Yeah.
Bobby Witt sure did.
Bobby Witt did. Yep.
Yeah, Jackson Churio, a 20-year-old from Milwaukee. Well, you see him last night that they got him like near beer or non-alcoholic beer because he's only 20.
Yeah, I did.
And the Brewers celebrate. Yeah.
Didn't they put it in a stroller?
Yeah.
Did I see that?
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of these young guys, you know, have passed him, and he needs to get back to, you know, being among the elite, which he was the first couple of seasons. Be more consistent. I want to see him consistent over 6 months. Don't have 2 good months.
All right.
Let's have 6 good months.
Enjoy the game with your father
Hey, I will.
today.
Cheap beer, peanuts. I'm
cheap
excited.
beer again. It's
Maybe
behind.
a hot dog.
It's a Hall of Fame spot. Cheap beer.
Gotcha.
Get a Victoria. It's great.
Victoria.
They got Bill Breaker back there.
Okay.
It's wonderful.
I'm excited.
$5. I never thought like getting one beer.
One beer for
$5 is a deal, but it is.
I'll make Dad buy. It's fine.
Yeah, make him buy.
There you go. Yeah, I got
Peanuts.
the tickets. Yeah.
Hey, I'll give you, if you don't want to pay for food in there, let me just give you a hot tip here.
Oh, on the outside?
Go in Occidental.
Okay.
They've got, there's a bunch of them. I can't remember the main one we always go to. I got to remember the name. If I remember it before you go, I'll text
Well,
you.
the sausages ones or the
Yes,
barbecue?
But
yeah.
it's like $6 for a hot dog, a drink, and chips. $6.
Come on. Really?
It's the best deal.
It.
And then get your peanuts out there. Get your
nothing
caramel
inside.
corn. Sorry, nothing
Sorry,
inside.
T-Mobile.
Everything on Occidental, okay?
Gotcha.
It's
Yeah.
so much cheaper.
Right. All right. We're off right now.
Okay, I'm sorry we kept you so long.
No,
I know
we're
you gotta
good.
go. All right.
I appreciate it.
You're the
Next
best.
week, we're running out of time.
We're running out of
10
time.
to go. Win them all.
Okay, 10
No
in a
problem.
row.
No problem.
See you, Brad.
Thanks, buddy.
Brad Adam of Root Sports, again, joins us every Thursday, brought to you by the great John Howie Steak. Entertain your next clients, family, and friends at John Howie Steak. Have the best dining experience there in the city at John Howie Steak. .com. Book your next reservation. Get there right now, folks. What a wonderful time to be there at John Howie Steak. Yeah, I mean, we've repeated it there with Brad a few times, and you know, we did it earlier in the show there as well. It's just one of the absolute disappointing seasons I think the Mariners have ever had. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of a more disappointing year as a fan. I mean, I really honestly can't come up with one. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there is a more disappointing season than what they have gone through this year. I mean, can you guys? I can't. I mean, I really is struggling to find a more disappointing year of where they had these expectations for themselves, and we all had these expectations for how they were going to be and how they were going to perform, and they just let everybody down constantly. And I think that letdown happened in the off season, and then the season starts. They don't get off to the greatest start, as has been the case a lot of times for them. And we sit there and watch them build up this huge lead, in which they did. They get it to 10 games, and then with a blink of an eye, they cough it up, and it's amazing how quickly they coughed up that lead. And just immensely frustrating. And again, I don't know how you solve it there in the off season. I don't know what you do. I mean, I hate that this idea that they're going to trade away, some of these pitchers, because God, I don't want to see them trade away any of these guys. I don't think anybody wants to see them trade away any of these guys. It would be devastating to sit there and watch, I don't know, Bryce Miller not be on the team next season, or Logan Gilbert or Brian Wu, because you have an ownership group that's cheap and doesn't want to spend money to go out and get free agents. And there's going to be a lot of money that is going to be spent on players that you already have. I mean, regardless if they're on the team next year or not, you're paying the two Mitches. And I know what, like Bill Krueger said this week, well, you got to look at it as how much would they have been paying Robbie Ray? Fine. I mean, you can look at it that way, but I don't think they do. Okay. Julio's jumping from 11 to 20. Rosarina, if you don't move him, is going to be arbitration eligible. The pitchers, we've talked about the pitchers who are arbitration eligible next year. George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Cal Raleigh's eligible. I mean, they've just got so much money, and this group has just never shown the willingness to go out and spend big money. And they're going to spend money, and then they're going to say, well, we did spend money. We spent money on our own. And then eventually they may trade, one of these young guys. And they've done a really good job. And credit to Jerry and his staff for building up that pitching staff. And they've got one of the best, if not the best pitching staff in baseball. And now you got to trade away from it if you want to improve other areas of your team. And that kind of stinks. All right. We'll wrap up the daily puck drop with this. Hey, what the puck? We do it every single day. It's brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Real quick, that QR code that's on the screen, if you take a shot of that, that's going to take you back to PuckSports.com. Still have time if you want to sign up for Puck the Picker Pick'em. We're giving away Troy Wins, our handicapper, TroyWins.com, who's on the show tomorrow, is giving away a trip for two to Las Vegas for the first round of March Madness. All expenses paid. You're going to stay at the Circa Hotel. That's with the big sports book outside with the pool and all that kind of stuff. You can still log in and try to win, try to amass as many points. You pick every single NFL game against the spread every week. Now, if you join now, you're going to be a little bit behind the eight ball, but you can still make it up because it's based on just picking against the spread and picking wins. You can still be in it. I wouldn't wait too much longer. But that QR code is going to take you right back to PuckSports.com. Then you're going to see the link to sign in to Puck the Picker Pick'em. And again, trip for two to Las Vegas, courtesy of Troy Wins, .com for the first round of the March Madness and staying at the Circa Hotel. Everything covered there by Troy Wins. All right, so get your games in and make sure if you sign up, you'll get in your pick tonight for Thursday Night Football, Patriots and Jets. Just wanted to get that in before I forget. All right, hey, what the puck? We talked about this story a little bit, just scratched the surface a little bit with Mike Garafolo from the NFL Network. But I told you about the video that's out there on Twitter from Rome Odunze's father. Okay, it's a real quick, and I'm going to play it again. This is Rome Odunze's father, who has gone to Twitter because there's a narrative out there or a storyline out there about Rome not being able to get open or what have you. And there seems to not be a growing rift, but maybe some connection issues between Odunze and Caleb Williams. And some people are coming to the defense of Williams saying he's not getting any help from his wide receivers. Well, then the father of Odunze went to Twitter with the All-22 to post this, showing Rome wide open in the end zone. I believe there's another copy that's out there now too. And again, if you're just listening back to this later on Apple and Spotify, go back and watch the video and you'll see it, or just go to Twitter and you'll find the Odunze video of where they show the offensive line and like Williams has no time to throw. Like he drops back and then obviously he's got somebody in his face right away. The point of this would be to all parents out there. I'm a parent. Many of you are parents. Don't ever do this. Don't ever do this. I mean, at any level. And the fact that this guy is doing it at the professional level is so embarrassing. But like, if you've got a kid in college or high school or little league or youth sports, Pop Warner, don't be this parent. You can go on social media and showing your son or your daughter, well, it's not their fault. This is not good. None of this is going to end well. If we start seeing some parent crime on crime happening, because I didn't know the story about Caleb Williams' dad, and apparently he's got his issues too. So now is Caleb Williams' dad going to respond, on social media? He's going to see that and go, well, is that an indictment on my kid? Well, let me fire back the All-22 clip that I've got of Odunze not getting open. Now, selfishly, that's entertaining to me, so I wouldn't mind seeing it. But this is not good. This is not going to end well for the Bears. This whole thing just feels like a real rocky situation. I mean, they've got a Putz as an offensive coordinator. We witnessed him for the last few years. The head coach, he doesn't really do it for anybody. So they probably will have a new head coach next year. And no doubt we'll have a new offensive coordinator next year. But Rome Odunze's father, and I didn't know this about him because I had a few Husky fans reaching out saying, oh, no, this doesn't surprise us. So is this something that was happening at UW? How come I never heard about this? Was he like calling out coaches and players like routinely? Is this kind of his MO? You can't do, he's a professional football player. Let him be a football player. He's not 9 anymore playing, Pop Warner where you go up to the coach afterwards, yelling and screaming at him at the fence, or he's walking to the parking lot. Come on, man. You got to be better. All right. That's Hey, What the Puck? It's brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Again, your restoration company is going to let you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services, locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. I failed to mention this. It's out. The Puck the Huskies podcast is out. We do it every single week with Elise Woodward and Jordan Reffett. My fault for not promoting that earlier. That's on me. Big thanks to Jordan and Elise. I know they didn't want to do it this week. They didn't. But I had some good laughs. So go check it out. It's the Puck the Huskies and all of our college stuff is, again, exclusively just on the podcast platforms. We released it this morning. It's a good 45 minutes. And it's a good breakdown. There's no yelling and screaming. But it's a good breakdown from both Jordan and Elise on what they saw, what led to the Cougars winning the Apple Cup, their thoughts on Mateer, and then their real honest thoughts on the decision by Jed Fish. And I think many Husky fans are going to agree with a lot of what Jordan and Elise had to say about, the decisions that he made. And that ultimately led into the ultimate victory for Washington State. It was just I think Washington State played better. in most facets of the game, and that includes coaching. It's part of the game. They just outcoached Washington, and so go check it out on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. I mentioned Apple. Anywhere where you find your podcast. Puck the Huskies with Elise Woodward and Jordan Reffert. All brought to you by the great Georgetown Brewery. All right, that's it for us here on a Thursday edition. All the shows will be up coming up later about 1 o'clock on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, PuckSports.com. Coming up tomorrow, Jim will stop on by, another visit with the great Jim Moore. He'll be in transit. He's driving to Pullman, apparently doing the show from Madras, Oregon tomorrow. What could go wrong? Everything. Troy Wins, our handicapper, will stop on by. Chris Egan of King 5 will stop on by on a Football Friday. We will talk to you tomorrow. As always, we promise to be better.
No shirt, no shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rob you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!